Hi everyone, it's Zara Altair, and this is the Midweek Zap. So welcome Zapsters. I see you're all lively and in conversation already. And I'm so thrilled today to have Kara Wood here with us, and she's going to give us the non-tech side of using Nodex, and I just think it's just such fabulous. This was actually months ago Kara's idea, and I just thought it was such a great one. So, Kara, welcome, and please tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, I'm one of the Nodex moderators, and I can't remember what our conversation was about, Zara.
It was
Sorry, when we,
low.
when we sort of said, "Hey, we should do this hangout," and I think sort of what it was were we in the Nodex community in and of itself talking about something?
Yeah.
And anyways, the Nodex community is moderated by myself, John, and Lee. And maybe I'll just sort of tell you about how I started working with Nodex early 2012 when I first joined Google+. I was looking for, I'm a bit of a tool junkie, so I was looking for a tool that was going to be able to sort of show me who the influencers were, what they were saying, and what sort of sentiment was, being measured based on what they were posting. Because I had clients that were saying to me, well, what is my competitor posting, or what are they saying? Are they even on social media? Should I even be on social media? So I needed to sort of figure out a way to benchmark, see what competitors were doing, as well as see who the influencers were that were out there to show people and say, hey, this is what's happening on social media. This is maybe why you want to get involved. Because remember, this was about 3 years ago. So I started working with Nodex when it was sort of in its infancy. So the dashboard that you see today is not the dashboard that I was playing around with back then. And so I had tons of questions. So I started asking Lee, just directly through Google+, asking him questions and bouncing ideas off of him. And then I sort of just became someone that was always using the program and the product. So Lee would say, well, what are you thinking? Or, what else can we do to make it a little bit different? So that's sort of how I became a moderator. I've just been using it, and I guess in a sense training on it. But I have an appreciation for people who are just starting out using it, because I was that person who didn't have I wasn't a scientist and I wasn't a super tech person. So when I started using the product, I just asked a lot of dumb questions. So anyway, so I appreciate there's people out there who are signing up and they have a lot of what they might think are dumb questions if they go into the Nodex community and see the level of sophistication of the conversations that are happening in that community, because there are some superior minds at work using Nodex. But I mean, I'm not saying that we're not superior using the product. It's just that when you start out, there's a few stumbling blocks, and I would just like to sort of
there are, and I know when I first started looking at Nodex, it was about 1.5 years ago, and yes, it has changed significantly since then. And but I also believe there are no dumb questions.
That's true. There are no dumb questions.
There are no dumb questions, and the reason for a community is you can come in, like a support community, is that you can come in at any level. And I just want to point out to everyone that there are also introductory videos to walk you through those first times you are on Nodex and you go, oh, what was that? How do I do that? So you have an introductory backup already, and then, within the community itself, you can ask those questions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any questions right now, but even the first baby step, trying to find, well, where is Nodex? Some people think it's a Google Plus product because it's offered as free to Google Plus members. So if you have a Google Plus account, you can easily get into Nodeex, and then you can. That is the free part of the program. But you can access Nodeex, obviously from the website. And then if you have a Google account, you can log in through your Google account. And then, of course, you can measure data and analyze data in Google Plus for free. And if it's only when you sort of go into the paid program that you can sort of start analyzing other platforms. And I don't know if everybody knows that. A lot of people are sort of thinking
that's exactly why we're here, to let people know
exactly.
these things. But I wanted to bring up a comment from Deborah Rock. She says the only dumb question is the question not asked.
Exactly. I like that one.
Yeah.
But I'll just sort of talk about my experiences, and maybe that will sort of prompt some more questions, and people will be like, when I first started making my projects, I would give them really goofy names, first of all, because I didn't know how many I was going to do, so I would just put any ridiculous name as a project name. And then I would go in and I would enter 5 different hashtags. Instead of narrowing it down when the project was finished, collecting all the data. And I also just attention to the dates that I wanted to look at. I think I would just set it at the week. And then my projects would be finished, and I would have this broad brush stroke of all of this data that I didn't really want. And it was because I had used so many hashtags that the program itself was giving me 5 different hashtags, and you can imagine the noise that was in there. So one thing that I like to recommend is people really think about what your project name is going to be, because you could be working on that project for the next couple of months. And I also suggest using a different project name for each hashtag. So if you're going to watch 5 hashtags, create 5 projects and give them each a name and maybe a hyphen with the hashtag. So say, for example, it's Golf Digest, and then, so it's a Golf Digest project, and then space, and then hashtag golf clubs. And then the next project would be hashtag golf grips. I'm just using golf as an example.
Yeah, that's a great example, and I just wanted to let all the people watching know that Kara's coming to us from the Caribbean with some bandwidth limitations, so if her voice goes strange or if she starts to get blurry, it's bandwidth coming in and out, and we left it at that in the green room because we really wanted her advice. So Kara, I know you have some material for us because you're already using terms that some people may not know, like project. What does a project mean?
Okay.
If you want to give us your introductory material, I know you laid it out for me, and I think that would be really, really helpful for folks.
Sure. So what is the best way for me to share it with everybody?
If you have it up, I think you can just share that screen.
Okay. All right, so I will do that. All right, everyone, just hold on for a minute. I'm going to do a screen share, and then here. Why is it not coming up? All right. So I'm going to share this. Can you guys see my screen here?
Yes, now we can see.
Oh, perfect. Okay. So I'm just going to scroll down. I thought maybe what we would do is sort of start with just looking at the dashboard. When you start your project. So I'm going to back up because this information that I'm going to show you, what I have up on the screen here, is what your dashboard is going to look like once you've created your project. So I don't know if everybody has seen or has gotten as far as creating a project, but it's the first step when you start with Nodeex. So you need to have an idea of what you want to look at, whether it's hashtags or if you want to look at someone's profile and sort of watch what they're posting and sort of benchmark what they're doing to possibly what you're going to do for your project. So here we have the word cloud, influencers, bird's eye view, latest posts. see this. It's top posts, top hashtags, top days, top trends. I can send all of this information to everybody who's watching the show if you're interested. This is just sort of, I would sort of call it a bit of a cheat sheet that was created by John about a year ago, and it walks you through the dashboard, and it's broken down nice and easily. So sorry, where did you go with it?
Yeah, if you just put
Should I keep talking about
link in the comments and go back up again and
okay, perfect.
Go through the steps. So we've looked at the data.
Okay.
And then what's next?
Sure. Well, absolutely. And we have content marketing. That is going to, when you click on that little area right here, that's going to open up to all of your projects that you're working on. And so you can sort of toggle back and forth to sort of all of your different projects. So this is live. So this is live feed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how when you get the document, you can go up and down and sort of figure out. I just want to go here. All right. So if you go down to number 1, it's going to explain that the Nodeex live feed module is what it is and what it does. And I've highlighted here what the live feed module will give you. And it will give you a graph of the posts over your project date range, hashtags or keywords in your project, and source of project data. So where is that information being pulled from? But if you're only using the free version of Nodeex, the only source of your project data is going to be Google+. But that's in and of itself amazing. So you're going to get tons of data about your project keyword off of Google+, as well as you're also going to be able to take a look at all of the other keywords that are being used in your project. Does anyone have any questions yet?
Well, there's a question from Sheila that we're going to get to the nodes before I bring up her question. And then also we have one from William Rock, just a comment. William says, hands up. I am new with the tool even though I have been following the tool since 2012, and I'm looking forward to the simpleness of the tool. So,
okay.
Yes.
Okay, well, why don't we, you know what, I'm going to go into the Nodeex word cloud, because I think the word cloud in and of itself is sort of one of the most fun parts of the program, and I think someone who's created a new project. So a project is, you take your one hashtag that you want to watch or that you're interested in, and you want to see the conversations based around that hashtag. If you go into your dashboard, I'm going to go back up. So I'll just back up a bit. So you've created your project, you've given your project a name, you've picked the date range that you want to look at. Maybe it's the past week, maybe it's the past 2 weeks. But for example, if you're going to watch a hashtag that has to do around a conference, you're going to maybe do the week before the conference and the week after the conference, probably, to watch. So, and you enter in that hashtag, you create your project. Now, the project could take a little bit of time to collect the data. So another sort of little tip I have for everyone is don't panic if you don't see your project come up quickly. Because sometimes, for myself, I find that sometimes Nodeex doesn't create my project for 24 hours. So
I've found that it's usually about 24 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a little tip. Don't panic if you don't see it come up. I'm going to flip back in, but I just wanted to sort of come out and give that little explanation that your project can take a little bit of time. And if it's a bigger project, so if you have quite a few hashtags in there because you're a little bit more sophisticated now, and you know exactly what you're looking for, that project will take a little bit of time. And if you're creating 2 or 3 projects, which is what I like to do, to sort of benchmark and measure, that's good. All right, so I'm going to flip back in. We're going to go through if there's no other questions.
Well, you're just getting a lot of feedback that everybody wants the cheat sheet. So if you can put the link in the comments after the show, that would be really great.
You bet. You bet. Okay, so and the cheat sheet is fantastic. You guys are gonna really, really like it. So I'm gonna just some information about location and date range. That stuff is fantastic, and you can adjust that. So we've sort of talked about what the live feed module will give you, and I've highlighted here what that does. So we're going to go back down to the word cloud because I really like the word cloud. So once you're at the word cloud, guys, it looks fantastic, but it also works brilliantly. So you can words that are in the posts surrounding your hashtag. So if your hashtag, say for example, my hashtag, again, we'll go back to golf. It is a Golf Digest conference. My word cloud is going to be full of all of the words that are within all of the posts. Now the next cool thing is you can click on one of those words and it's going to open up and show you all of the posts and all of the authors and influencers who have written those posts. And from there, you can open their post up, you can read it, you can use it as a benchmarking tool for what you're going to do, because and you can also see the engagement that has happened on that post. So if you see a post that has great engagement, and it's done by an influencer, you can then reverse engineer, you can go, okay, this content works really well, these words are the words that I should be using, and then you can reverse engineer, and you can make your own amazing post.
I think one of the great things about the words is being able to go in word by word and looking at what other words are there. I mean, you know, Peter Haverly is here, so yeah, should be using it for hashtag plus. Absolutely. The word diving is just so deep. So it's a fun way to do it. You know, if you're visually oriented, it's a great way to go in and find a related substance. So, Kara, back to you. I just wanted to.
Oh, no problem. No.
Fun and how deep you can go with that.
Yes, exactly. So even if you see your dashboard and you see all of the other great widgets and graphs and things that you can do with Nodeex, even if you spend just a week learning the word cloud and playing with it, you're really going to see some benefit, and your social reach is going to improve because you're going to meet some influencers, and you're going to identify some really great content. So then you can sort of I like to use the word reverse engineer. Then you can create your own great content that you know already is going to get engagement because you've already seen the post that it's done. So I've highlighted here the parts that I think are really important. So when you get this little cheat sheet, you can literally just work through the modules and learning them at your own speed. So part of the dashboard as well is the influencers module. You're going to see influencers that you pull out of the word cloud, but here they are already put in a neat little package for you. So so obviously we were doing a content marketing hashtag when we made this particular cheat sheet. So we have influencers module, and I'm sure quite a few people will recognize a lot of those names there. We have Gina, Friedel, Fitzpatrick, and Jake Bear. So you can go in and see what those guys are doing. So I've highlighted right here, Node3x allows you to connect with influencers directly, and that is what that influencers module is for. Now, when I started with Nodeex in 2013, we did a 30-day challenge where Lee sort of asked the group to reach out to one influencer a day to try and create engagement around your post and their posts, as well as to see if you could generate either conversations and or, depending on how you're using it, generate interest and maybe potential business, right? There's lots of ways that you can use that sort of influencers module depending on what kind of project you're working on. Does anyone have any questions?
I just wanted to point out with the influencers that who shows up is going to be different depending on your hashtags, and to emphasize that for that particular search, it was content marketing, and that's where we got. You know, Sheila had a question, Sheila Hensley, and I'm going to bring it up because I think that this isn't part of the display on the sheet. She says, before I forget to ask, nodes in relations, tell me which colors represent each engagement again, please. You know, so like the purple and the green and the...
Okay, and the orange? Okay, the purple and the green. Oh my gosh, I'm going to get into trouble answering this question because
John, if John can just post in the stream, it'll help all of us.
I have to tell Sheila, I make notes myself. When I go in to use, I have my own little cheat sheet beside me where I'm like, okay, so that is a share, that one is a, you know, influencer. So yes, I will admit I use my own cheat sheet. So Sheila, I'm sorry I don't know it off the top of my head.
Oh, that's okay. All right, so I'm sure John will post in the stream and then we'll have the answer.
And relationships graph was going to be my phase 2 or show 2 if you were going to have me back. Yes. I thought that we wouldn't go that far. We would just stay within the dashboard. And then if people were interested in going a step further, which most of them are because it's so cool, and the relationships graph is one of my favorite parts of Nodeex from an aesthetic point of view. But again, it's a show in of itself. So we could do phase 2. So I'm just going to go back in to just try to get through the dashboard through this show. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely. That'll be great. And I think, you know, if you can show us, you know, what Sheila was asking about so people can see how Nodeex brings a relationship, your relationships up as well.
Okay. I'm afraid that where I'm at, which is...
Oh, you can't because
I'm in the Caribbean. I don't think I can run a Hangout and Nodeex at the same time.
Okay.
And that's important too for beginners as well. When you're running a Nodeex project, make sure that you have your computer, everything else that's running on your computer turned off, because it takes up as much power as, say, for example, running a Hangout on air. So if you have a lot of things open, your project is going to run slower. So when you start a Nodeex project, and you want it to sort of work quickly, make sure that you shut down anything else that's running on your computer.
You know, I have an addition to that, and it works for Hangouts on Air as well. If you're running on Chrome, if you go up to the right-hand side and look, oh, John is with us. Anyway, let me finish this real quickly. If you go up to the right-hand side of Chrome and go to settings and turn off all your extensions because you're going to be focused on Nodeex. It's going to give you a lot more bandwidth because you can't believe how much they suck up if you've got a lot of Chrome extensions running. So when you're doing a really focused project, whether it's a Hangout on Air or running Nodeex, if you turn all of those off, everything's going to be spawned a lot more quickly. John, welcome. So good to see you here.
Nice to see you guys. I just jumped in because I heard Kara saying she couldn't share the relations graph, and I thought that's such a great visual. I got to jump in here and show you that.
Now everyone's going to be mesmerized, John, and they're all gonna want to skip the dashboard and go straight to the relationships graph.
Well, that's fine too. There are that's basically the two views you're going to want to look at when you're using Nodeex, is the dashboard and the relations graph. So
that's true. That's true.
Those are the ones. Shall I just share my screen here?
Yep.
Yeah. We've built up such a buzz about the relationships graph. People are going to be wanting to know, and it's amazing. It's my favorite next to the word cloud for places that I like to visit when I'm using Nodeex.
Yeah.
Okay, John's bringing it up. Here we go.
You're going to be seeing this now. I've got to run the engagement update and the profile update to get some of the other colors onto the graph. Those colors, well, we don't have all the colors here yet, but the blues, and I mentioned this in the comments, the blues are the original posts. So right now we're just seeing a bunch of original posts and not seeing any of the engagement between those posts. See if we can update here and pull in some of the engagement. Still seeing all blue nodes. Let me try another project. That is also running all blue nodes. Online marketing, social tools. Okay, I don't have any projects that are updated yet, so we're not going to see any nodes except the blue nodes. But basically what we will see are purple nodes, green nodes, and orange nodes all in this graph. And as I mentioned, the blue nodes represent original posts, and then the other colored nodes represent the activity on those posts. So if you see a green node, that means that's a reshare of one of the blue nodes. And you can click on any of these nodes to bring up the post. So we'll just click on one of these to show you what that looks like. And it pulls up the overlay of the original post. And from there, this one was in a community, so you can see this is showing me, we can't actually display this post because this was made into a community, but let's see if we can find another node that may, there we go. So we can see the actual post here. I could +1 this, I could comment on it directly as I like, all from within the tool. I could circle this guy, I could see who's engaged on the post by viewing post activity, etc., etc. And again, green nodes will be reshares, purple nodes will be comments, and orange nodes will be +1s. So what you'll begin to do is see clusters of nodes, and those are the nodes that are getting the posts that are getting the most activity. I wish I had a project that could show you all this, but right now it looks like the relations are not pulling at the moment. So I'll look at that and come off my screen share.
Are you running too many extensions, John?
No, I've here. I've done a lot now. So that has a lot to do with it, by the way. This is a little technical, but the system memory has a lot to do with your ability to run Nodeex along with a lot of other things on your computer. So if it's running slowly, yes, shutting down things can help, or upgrading your RAM. So.
Yeah, well, anyway, I thank you so much for bringing that up, because I think even without all the colors coming up, it's a great demonstration of how you can engage directly with your posts and the people who have responded to them. And as you saw from the post that John brought up, you can +1 it, you can comment, you can do everything that you can do inside of Google, but it's all instantaneous. So you can find, especially when you get those clues about who's +1 and who's shared, you get a lot more information and you can interact directly. So it's like a shortcut to building your engagement. That's the way I look at it. Would you agree, John?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It helps you filter out all the noise and irrelevant posts that are within your topic. Let's say you're interested in photography, but you don't know anyone on Google Plus that's also interested in photography. Well, you could set up a photography post and find very quickly the influencers, the engagers, the top posts, and exactly where you could be engaging yourself in that topic. And Nodeex shows it all to you in the relations view. You could just see those posts right there in front of you. Like I said, you'll see them in the center of those multicolored dots, and you can click on them and engage them or whatever you like.
So I want to bring up a comment from Peter Hatherley. I've tended to use it for more general search. She was talking to William Rock, but I can see with a little bit of work this could be really interesting. And boy, Peter, Yes. Because I think with the work that you do with words and hashtags, you're going to find it's just an amazing, amazing tool, and especially for instant. Once you get your search up, it's great for instant recognizing who's connecting, who's doing what. It's just an amazing tool. I think I said that every time Nodeex is here, but I'll say it again. and I think that the reason that I was so enthusiastic about this show is that, you know, for people who consider themselves non-tech, and I'm one of them, you know, this is a tool that is totally usable. It's approachable. I think at the beginning, the biggest hurdle is just learning the internal terminology, like what is a project? I mean, it's that simple, because once you start diving in and looking at things and using things and going, oh my gosh, I can do this too, and it's all coming up from one search, it's just exponential information for what you want to do personally for your business. And also, I think we didn't mention this, but you can also search with either your profile or your page, and or both. So you can have different searches coming up. This is in the paid version, but I just wanted to let people know that. So I know for a lot of people, building engagement and building followers on a business page is a lot harder. And here's a tool, people, to really expand who you reach with your business page.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to step on you, John.
Go ahead.
It's amazing for benchmarking. It's not just a listening tool, and I've heard, you know, people say, oh, it's just about listening, and well, okay, that's one thing, but you can also create projects within it where you can benchmark and look at what your competitors are doing, what influencers are doing, and then build your project, or not your project, your campaign. I'll use the word campaign as opposed to project. So you can build your campaign out for, you know, what you're working on, because you already know what your competitors are doing, what's working for them by listening. And I'll just, if I can just go back to the dashboard, because there's one last module on the dashboard that I just want to show everybody, because it really it falls into what we just spoke about. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. So here, I'm just going to go back in. I'm going to screen share here. So if everyone can see this, one of the last modules on our dashboard is going to be the top post module. And by using this, and if we just go along this this top navigation bar here, you can see what the top posts are within the hashtag that you're looking at, the top hashtags, because there'll be more than one hashtag that's used in the posts, the top days that people are posting on that's getting the most engagement, top times, and then you can see all the other hashtags. So I don't want to take up too much time because I know we're getting to the end. Sorry, we popped back up. So you have your influence module, your bird's eye module, which I won't take much time because I know we don't have much time left. So when everyone gets this, they can take a peek at it. But the top post module, I find that one really, really useful as a beginner because top posts, hashtags, days, and top times are things that we can all sort of relate to or in early days of our projects. So. So I'll just leave it there because I know that we're going to be wrapping up soon.
And Deborah Rock. Deborah Rock has another comment. Someone has their sound on. Is that you?
Sorry?
Anyway, Deborah says, I like Nodeex's ability to track YouTube videos. When clients have HOAs, I'm able to track the shares further than the normal Google too. So there's another one.
So there's a lot of different things. Does anyone have any other questions?
I'm checking.
I've got the node graph.
Yeah, you want to give us?
Perfect.
Yeah. Do you have the video running? Sarah?
Someone has their video.
Video running?
Yeah.
That's where the echoes.
There's an echo somewhere. No, mine's not up. I've been.
Okay, it was Kara. That's fine. Okay, so I will share my screen again and show you all the node graph, more activity. So we were mentioning that there would be central nodes with a lot of other colored dots around them, and this is what that looks like. So again, the blue ones are the original posts, so we can clearly see 1, 2, 3, 4 posts right here that are have a lot of activity going on around them. So we can zoom in here a little bit and just click. This one's got all of these +1s, and it's got 2 reshares. This one here has got all these +1s and a bunch of reshares. So lots and lots of reshares on this one. So you can click on these center nodes, and now you're seeing sort of, this is another view of that top post module that Kara was showing you a few seconds ago. Well, this is in a community, but we can click here and go over to that post in the community. Oh, this would not be one you would want to see. Okay, so that's another good point. That one is probably not one that you would want to see in your project, so you could go into your settings and exclude that user from the project. That looked like a pretty spammy post, and that will happen. Let's try this one over here, biz42. This looks like it's also in a community. So let's try this one. It's the same. It's actually being removed by Google because it's looks like it was one of those explicit posts. These are all 3. Well, Peter Olson, same user. So looks like I would want to exclude this person from the graph, and I would do that in my settings. Excuse me, I would do that by editing the project. And you can go in here and you can see all the project settings. These are all the hashtags that the project is tracking. These are some hashtags that I'm excluding, and these are some profiles that I'm excluding. So if I would want to exclude someone who's spamming my project, I could put in the URL to their profile, or I could put in some of the like circle sharing hashtags, top circle share, stuff like that, just to kind of weed out some of that information that I don't want to see.
And then John,
I see that question.
Molly Young-Hager has a question. What if you post to a private community? Do those get tracked as well?
No. We will only track posts that are put into public communities.
Okay. We are definitely at the end of our time. I really want to thank John Dietrich for joining us. I know you've been on other HOAs today, and you're just trying to stay back down, but you left anyway. So thank you. And Kara, wonderful presentation. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, I hope I covered off some things, but if anyone has any questions, like please come to the community and ask us, or ping us after the show, and we'll do our best to try and answer them. And then also, I'm calling it the cheat sheet, but it's actually a blog post that John did in 2013, an introduction to the new dashboard. So we can share the link to that as well, because it's amazing. I use it, and I've been using this program for 3 years now, so it's very, very useful.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, audience. Had some really great questions and some fabulous comments, so thank you again, Zapsters. Thank you, John and Kara, and we'll see everyone next week. Ciao.
Bye-bye.